The never-ending yes, which reminds me of the never-ending story. Okay, so imagine a character that we're just going to make up right now. Name her whatever you want. It could be yourself as well. Let's figure this out together. She's bright, ambitious, professional, known among her friends and colleagues as the dependable one. Every request, every favor, every invitation that lands on her desk or phone, she answers with a swift yes. And at first, it feels good because she's helping people and she's kind and generous. And she thinks, if I don't do this, who will? Months go by, and this woman's calendar is a tangled web of commitments. Her evenings are spent replying to emails, preparing reports for colleagues, attending events she doesn't really want to go to, and helping friends with problems she never caused. And slowly and surely, the weight builds. Her weekends vanish, her hobby fades, and she feels a quiet but persistent stress that gnaws at her joy. Until one day, this woman of ours catches herself staring at a blank wall, for example, exhausted completely, and she thinks, when did I stop living my own life? Because come on. The reason why this woman is stuck isn't because she's weak or lazy or unkind. It's because saying no, it's one of the hardest skills in her life. And also, society, our families, they don't teach us how. So, let's go into and dive into the psychology of yes. Why saying no so difficult? Let's break it down for you. Number 1, fear of rejection. Humans are wired to seek approval. When we say no, we fear disapproval, criticism, and even abandonment. Saying yes feels safer. It is a form of social insurance, after all. Number 2, guilt and obligation. Many people were raised with the idea that helping others is a virtuous thing to do, and refusing requests is so selfish. But these internalized beliefs create a subtle guilt whenever we even consider saying no. Number 3, people-pleasing patterns. Some of us have developed habits of pleasing others to maintain relationships, avoid conflict, or even feel worthy. This habit isn't completely bad, but it also can become very toxic when it overrides our own needs. Number 4, short-term gratification versus long-term pain. Saying yes often gives us immediate relief. Someone's happy, the task is done. But the long-term consequences is stress, fatigue, and resentment. So, going back to the consequences of literally never saying no. Let's return to this woman of ours. Every yes she said seems harmless in isolation, but over time, her mental energy is drained. She has no space to focus on her own goals. Her emotional health suffers. She feels resentment towards people she used to enjoy helping. Her physical health may begin to decline, most likely so, because its chronic stress can lead to insomnia, headaches, and a weakened immune system. Her relationships are paradoxically weakened because people may come to expect constant availability while her own needs are being ignored. This woman's story is obviously not unusual, it's not rare, it's not different, because millions of people, including me, live in this cycle. I used to live in that cycle, better said. Never realizing what saying no is not just about refusing the request, it's also about protecting yourself, your time, and your mental health. And I'm here letting you all know that, one, been there, done that, lived through it, and sometimes I still do. But because of tools like therapy and self-love and helping and sitting in your shadow part as well, I'm here to say, hey, it's okay. Let's find ways to say no. So, reframing no as a gift. Here's a subtle and a powerful shift. Saying no isn't selfish. It's honest. It's a form of respect, both for yourself and for others. Because when you say yes to everything, your yes also becomes less meaningful. When you say no when necessary, your yes becomes powerful, intentional, and authentic. This woman, in this case me, for example, eventually learns the lesson the hard way. After weeks or months of exhaustion, she practices saying no. First to small requests, and the relief is immediate. She realizes that setting boundaries allows her to show up more fully in moments that actually matter more. The first step, once again, as always, as everything else in life, is awareness. Before we learn how to say no, we need to understand why we struggle. Awareness is that first step. Notice, for example, your automatic reactions. Do you say yes without thinking? Observe your emotions. Do you feel anxiety, guilt, or fear when imagining saying no? Identify those patterns. Are there certain people or certain situations or types of requests that trigger the automatic yes? So, for the next week, let's keep a yes-no journal, for example. Every time you say yes, write it down, along with why you said yes and how did that make you feel. This simple exercise reveals patterns that you might be unaware of and lays the groundwork for a really conscious choice next time. So, now, let me tell you a story. I'm going to say any freelancer out there and for any entrepreneur out there, but also for anybody who has a very social life that's very active, who has friends who care, and you want to be there for those friends, for literally anybody human, because I'm like, how else can I describe this? All right, so consider, in this case, a freelance designer. Early in their career, they said yes to absolutely every client, believing they had to prove themselves. They worked late nights, skipped meals, and accepted projects that didn't pay well. And one morning, after a particular grueling week, they missed their daughter's school performance, for example. Watching her disappointment face, they realized, I'm saying yes to everybody but the people that matter the most. And this person's transformation didn't happen overnight, but an awareness that sparked changed. They began to politely decline work that didn't align with their values or schedule, and even though at first they felt guilty, they surprised themselves. Afterwards, they surprised themselves because their career thrived. Saying no freed them to focus on meaningful projects, and then they became known in the professional world as someone who delivers high quality work and not as just someone that says yes. And that right there is the heart of today's lesson. Not only the fact that I can be sitting here, script in hand, making the mistakes and proving again to myself time and time again that mistakes are okay to leave in, especially in this context, and just making sure I'm giving myself grace that way. It also means a no. And what does that mean right now? Do I go back and take my time to record this again and again and again and again to make it feel perfect? No, because this is where I'm at and I'm meeting myself where I'm at. And it's a no because I know that the hour that would have taken, I can invest that hour into doing something else that I prefer to do more. Whether that's resting, whether that's relaxing, whether that's reading a book or going into my next meeting, I can be okay saying no to the doing this all over again and saying yes to something that I can invest my time and energy with, right? So that is the heart of today's lesson, including those little things that you might think like, oh, why does she make so many mistakes? Or why is she leaving this in? Because it all lines up, baby. It all lines up. Saying no is a superpower, not a weakness. Every no you say to something that drains you is a yes to something that fuels you. Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines that protect your energy, your time, and your joy. So by now, I really hope that you feel empowered, and I want you to reflect on your own yeses and nos, of course, and ask yourself, where have I been saying yes out of habit or fear or obligation? And how would my life improve if I started saying no strategically, consciously, and kindly? All these things matter not only to other people when you're talking about other people and saying yes to other people's events or issues or things like that, but it also matters what you're saying yes to yourself and what you're saying no to yourself. If you want to try for choir, go do it. Don't say it's because you have to spend time working or time doing somebody else's work. Say yes to yourself, while at the same time make sure where your own boundaries lie. To say no to yourself too. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy this No-vember, and see you next week.